Hi there, I'm Caden Rains, and welcome to my basement. Today we're returning to the world of Scott Pilgrim, aka Canada, as Bottleneck Gallery and Ish, or ISH, I still don't know which is which, uh, have just released the Kim Pine and Knives Chau figures from their line of Scott Pilgrim figures. These are number 5 and 6 of the line. There's also a 3-pack that came out with this wave. I did not get that because it was expensive, and it was just a slightly different version of the first Scott, a sitting Kim Pine with drums, and then Steven Stills, their other band member. So I didn't need him or alternates of another Scott or a different Kim. So I've just got these two, but I was happy to get them. And happy that they didn't take too long to arrive after I saw other people posting that they were starting to get theirs, because I saw someone complaining about it not arriving when it was scheduled to, and it's like, I haven't even gotten my shipping notification yet. So it took about a week longer for me to get it after I saw those first posts. So this isn't a too late to the play review, but if you've been thinking about since they were put on pre-order, it has been a while. So let's unpack them both, starting with Kim and then Knives, and then we'll find a place for them on the shelves. All right? All right. So here is Kim along with two of her larger accessories, I guess you could say. Unlike Scott and Ramona, she never had like an identifiable weapon or, bigger thing to hold. So really all she's got for accessories in this are an alternate head with this X'd out eyes from, I guess, one of the times she passed out in the series, and then a purse, I guess, pouch, whatever. It's one of those things that I'm sure she was drawn with several times, but I don't actually remember it. It's not like Ramona's star bag, where, that was made a point of in the series. But because she doesn't have anything else really to go with, her main accessory is gonna be just a lot of hands. So we've got these 6 here, thumbs up or down, I suppose, just sort of an open one holding a coffee cup, and then 2 more that are just sort of a slightly different kind of open. And then we've actually got 6 more over here, which again are kind of the same thing, just for right and left. Pointing with 2 fingers, fists, which seems to come in all of these. We'll see if Knives has them. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it wouldn't surprise me. And then holding her drumsticks, which is the most probably iconic thing about her, which is why in the 3-pack I didn't get, she comes with drums and she's sitting at the drums. Like, it's a different, I don't know how much of a different top mold it would be, but at the bottom mold is she's sitting. So as far as the figure herself, though, beyond all the alternate head, well, 1 alternate head and the 12 alternate hands, she's about as posable and movable as the other Scott Pilgrim figures we've looked at. So the waist works in that weird way where if you actually turn it, it's going to have that lip hanging over that I don't like. So that's still my least favorite thing about these figures, besides the fact that their legs don't move at all. The arms do, though, and those are pretty, posable the way you'd hope. So shoulder, elbow, and wrist. And then, of course, like I said, there are, for each side, for each hand, there are 6 alternates. So you can shift her a fair bit. And then the head is, it's what you'd expect from a head, or at least what you'd hope for. It's just there. And then it just pops off. It doesn't want to, but it just, there we go. Different angle was needed. I don't really care for this second pose. I guess it's kind of funny. Not pose, second head. I guess it's kind of funny, but I don't remember this being like a huge thing. I know it happened. I didn't look at it and say, well, they pulled that out their butts, but I think they could have picked something different or given her something different, even if it wasn't as iconic, quote unquote, because like I said, I don't think her little purse thing is any kind of iconic, but just like her head, her hands just pop out. You can give her coffee. Don't remember that being a huge part of her character, but she needs something to get her through the shenanigans of Scott and the others around her. And then, I don't know, do you think pointing or thumb? Let me know down below, but I think I'm going to go with pointing for now. We can always change it later. You can do a lot with pointing fingers. There we go. Not giving a little acknowledgement or something. I mean, there's only so much you can pose these because of the legs not moving, but you know, giving sort of a acknowledgement to someone that, because while she's often grumpy in the series, she doesn't completely ignore everybody every time they talk to her. That'd be kind of a hard way to go through life, really. So that's the Kim Pines figure. As far as appearance-wise, like the other figures, it's caught the style really well, and they are basically the same scale as the other ones we've looked at. Like even with Ramona's rollerblades on this one, they're pretty much exactly the same height. And I would assume with Scott it's going to be more or less the same. He's a tiny bit taller. Not a lot, though. I forgot how much he leans forward. Anyway, so just so you can see how these figures scale compared to each other. So there's Ramona. All these figures are like $35 each, unless you're getting like there's like a 4-pack that has the Ramona and Scott I just showed you, as well as Kim and Knives from this wave, and that saves you a whole $10. But you know, the main reason I got both Kim and Knives this time was because, you know, it had been a year or maybe more since the last time I had bought any of these figures, and while they aren't the kind that go on sale, I've never seen them on sale. They seem to make a batch and occasionally restock it, but it's not like they're trying to move much product. Like maybe they've gone on sale. Well, that saying they're not trying to move much product kind of sounds like they don't care. They obviously care, but it doesn't seem like they're hurting. And this is a fairly loyal, I guess, fandom. So I doubt these don't sell well. I do wish they were a little cheaper, even if that meant maybe not having 12 alternate hands. But, you know, for something that only comes out once every year or two, I'm okay with it. So that's Ramona. Now let's take a look at Knives and see how she compares. All right, so here is Knives. A slightly different stance than some of the other characters we've seen so far. And like the others, she grabs the style pretty well. She comes across as Knives. You don't have to, if you know the series, you're not gonna be confused about who she is. Her alternate head has the starry-eyed, like, you know, taken in by whatever's going on. She's got 2 knives living up to her name. And then the note she sent Ramona at one point, "You're ugly and I hate you," signed Knives Chau, with the little star there. So, I mean, that's something. I don't know if it was necessary, but it's there. Like with Kim, you can take her head off pretty easily. It actually seems to come off easier than Kim's head did, but whatever. It's probably just in my head. And then it just pops. There. Pops back on. And there you go. Yeah. That one might need some finagling, but there you go. All right. Same thing as all the other figures. There's that lip when you turn the waist. It's not as egregious on this because it is just her waist there. So it's not like on Kim and some of the others where the hem of their top goes farther to the side. There's only a little bit. So if you're going to turn any figure, this one is the one of these 4, or I guess 6 we've looked at. This is the one that it works the best on. Other than that, you got the scarf here that she wears when she's got this outfit going on, and her hands and arms work basically the same way as all the others. So elbows, shoulders, and wrists, all pretty good. Put up them dukes. And then, like with Kim, she comes with several alternate hands, although instead of 12, it's only 8, so 4 for each side. You've got peace signs, just open hands, and I was right, she does have fists. Those are her default ones. And then 3 grabbing hands. 7, not 8. But 3 because 2 of them are for her knives, and then 1 is for the note. So I probably just would have left that hand off, really, and maybe the note too. I don't know if that's worth dropping it down like $5. I think it should be, but that seems unnecessary. The only real difference between Knives hands and like Kim's or Scott's or whatever, I think, well, they're probably slightly smaller than Scott's. They're probably about the same size as Ramona's, but they've got this black effect from her sleeves on them. So, and they're a slightly different hue, obviously, because they're not all the same skin color, her being Chinese. So there's knives. I mean, like all the others, if you're a fan of the series and you want something from it, these aren't bad. I do wish their legs moved at least a little bit, but again, for something that comes out like once a year or 3, and they're not putting out like every character, just some of the main ones, I'm not too upset about this, and I don't think they're terribly overpriced, just a little bit. So it doesn't feel like a scam to me. It might to you. I'm not gonna tell you that you should feel great about these figures if you've gotten one or multiple of them in the past and not been happy with them. But considering how little like merchandise for Scott Pilgrim we get, aside from like, I know there's been a second video game just came out. That's another thing I'm waiting on. But besides that, and there was like 15 years between the 2 video games. Besides that, it's like t-shirts and junk. And I'm not like, I have t-shirts from stuff I like, but I don't know. For me, t-shirts last a long time. I still got t-shirts from when I was in high school, and that was like 7 decades ago. And if they're going to last that long, then, why do I need to keep getting new ones? So anyway, I like these 2 figures. I think they are at least pretty good. They're not my favorite figures ever, but I like both of these characters in the series they're from, so I'm good with it. And I'm glad they finally came in. That was always the worst part, when you pre-order something and it just takes forever to get in. I don't love pre-ordering, but at the same time, there's stuff that I'm like, well, I'm not gonna get it if I don't, and I try to weigh that, whether or not I should pre-order it, how available it's gonna be. These guys are technically available, but they sell out really fast. Like the Scott and Ramona, I think you can only get them now if you get them as part of that 4-pack. I might be wrong there, but when I was looking at the site the other day to check my shipping, I saw these 2 and I saw the 4-pack. So that getting them, say, that at least all at one time may save you $10, but not everybody's gonna have $140 to spend on 4 toys all at once, instead of 70, because these are 35 each, to spend every 3 years. So that's my take. Again, I wish they were cheaper, but I'm not going to complain too much about that. Anyway, now that I've complained about that, let's find a place on the shelf for Kim and knives and see how they look. All right? All right. So we are back in the sewer lair setup for today's shelving. And here we have Kim hanging out with Ramona. And they are both now saying hi to April as she comes in. I kind of kept Kim as I messed with her when we were looking at her a minute ago, and she's just sort of waving with that open hand as she gets through the night as much as she can with that coffee. Meanwhile, over here, we've got Knives fangirling over another sharp tool user, where I think she'd be really happy to meet Raphael. Do I have any evidence of that other than the fact that they both use short, pointy weapons? No, but we're going to go with it. So let me know down below if Knives EL is your new favorite cross IP ship. And if it's not, well, you're a loser. Or maybe I'm a loser. Who knows? Who can tell in this modern day and age? But that is the addition of Knives and Kim to the setup. It's getting a little crowded. There's still some space here and there, especially back here in the kitchen, although I am thinking about moving Pomni. I don't know. She's just kind of been hanging, and I want to give her something to do, but we'll see. And then there's openings here and there, so we'll figure it out. But let me know down below if you've thought about getting either Knives or Kim from the Bottleneck Gallery series of Scott Pilgrim figures. Again, so far we've looked at the Wave 1 Scott and Ramona that are hanging here in the kitchen and then now next to Kim, as well as the Wave 2, which are from the end of the series, where they're in their alternate outfits from the party at the end of Volume 7. So, and then, of course, Knives and Kim today. So those are these available figures outside of the 3-pack that has sitting Kim, another alternate Scott, and the Steven Styles. So again, I won't be getting that one because I don't need another Kim. I won't have anything against Steven, but I don't know. It just not what I think of when I think of Scott Pilgrim. So let me know how you're feeling like with these figures. If you think you'll try and get them one day or not. But otherwise, I hope you had a good time in my basement today, and I'll see you in the next one.